The Sweden Democrats have solidified their political presence across various echelons of governance in Sweden. The Sweden Democrats are asserting a bold and potentially transformative stance on the European Union, advocating for the removal of constitutional references to the EU. Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson laid out his country's priorities for the then upcoming presidency of the EU Council. What was irking the Liberals was the mandate lacked even the slightest mention of migration and gang-related crimes. The bloc has stepped back on the promises it made to the country, which irked the nerves of Sweden, and with the ever-circulating fears of Swexit, the EU is now thrown into a state of tizzy.
Welcome to TFI Global, the antidote to mass delusion.
In the heart of Swedish politics, a formidable force has surged to prominence. Enter the Sweden Democrats, SD. This nationalist and right-wing political powerhouse has captivated attention with its resolute stance on immigration and robust Euroscepticism, making waves across the political spectrum. Their escalating influence, evident in significant representation within the Riksdag, European Parliament, and local councils, mirrors a groundswell of support from an increasingly engaged electorate. At the forefront of their agenda is a fervent commitment to prioritizing Swedish sovereignty, a sentiment underscored by a bold proposal to expunge constitutional references to the European Union. The tantalizing prospect of a potential Swexit looms, contingent on specific conditions. The Sweden Democrats have solidified their political presence across various echelons of governance in Sweden. Within the Riksdag, Sweden's national parliament, the party commands a notable 72 out of 349 seats, underlining their significant influence in shaping national policies. In the European Parliament, the SD claims 3 out of 21 Swedish seats, contributing to the party's broader impact on the European stage. At the regional level, the party boasts a formidable 224 out of 1696 seats in country councils and an impressive 1,806 out of 12,700 seats in municipal councils. Moreover, the web of Swedish politics is further complicated by the current coalition government, where the moderate party, Christian Democrats, and Liberal Party form a center-right alliance. Notably, the Sweden Democrats play a pivotal role in supporting this coalition, even though they are not formally integrated, exerting a substantial influence on legislation and bolstering confidence in the government. As of February 15, 2024, Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson of the Moderate Party leads this multifaceted coalition, shaping the political landscape with SD's crucial backing. The Sweden Democrats are asserting a bold and potentially transformative stance on the European Union, advocating for the removal of constitutional references to the EU. This strategic move aligns with the party's objective to fortify Sweden's autonomy, particularly in critical areas such as migration and climate policy. The suggestion carries a weighty implication, a potential Swexit should EU policies continue to centralize power, marking a departure from the party's initial Euroscepticism following the aftermath of Brexit. At the core of the SD's proposal is the establishment of a referendum doc, a safeguard mechanism designed to inhibit the transfer of substantial powers to the EU without the endorsement of the Swedish populace through a national referendum. While supporters applaud the party's commitment to national sovereignty, critics express concerns over the potential impact on Sweden's security and the divisive nature of the proposed referendum doc. Well, this is not the first time such calls have been raised in Sweden. Even a few months back, Swexit alert emerged after the Sweden Democrats party leader Jimmy Åkesson, who supported the coalition government in Sweden, said it was time to reconsider the country's membership in the European Union. The SD saw a greater rise in support during the 2022 Swedish general election, with the party overtaking the moderates to become the second largest in the Swedish parliament, Riksdag. In comments to the Aftonbladet newspaper, Åkesson stated that the ever-expanding power of the EU means that German, Polish or French politicians are the ones to decide which car to buy, how expensive the petrol should be, and which tree you can cut down on your property. Åkesson noted that the reorganization of relations with the EU and more exemptions from the laws of the Union should be sought, and they have good reasons to seriously reassess their membership. Not to mention, the EU was having sleepless nights when Sweden was all set to take the presidency in 2023. The reason being the mandate with which Sweden took on the presidency. Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson laid out his country's priorities for the then upcoming presidency of the EU Council. Kristersson presented Sweden's priorities to the parliament under 4 areas: security, resilience, prosperity, and democratic principles, and the rule of law, and struck an upbeat tone about what could be accomplished. What was irking the Liberals was the mandate lacked even the slightest mention of migration and gang-related crimes. The Liberal caucus of the bloc went all out against Kristersson's proposed mandate. But there always has been something more to the picture. Sweden is one of those countries which has always been at tussle with the EU when it came to either its policies or its stance over the Russo-Ukraine war. Sweden has been left up the creek without a paddle by the EU, which has resulted in a shift of stance. The bloc has stepped back on the promises it made to the country, which irked the nerves of Sweden. The country even backed off on joining the transatlantic alliance because it does not want to be caught up in NATO's game with Russia, which eventually irritated the EU. Amidst all the infighting and full-blown clashes and verbal spats between the bloc and the nation, Sweden tilted towards Russia, which even became a point of concern for the EU when the nation was set to take on the EU presidency. And with the ever-circulating fears of Swexit, the EU is now thrown into a state of tizzy. The Sweden Democrats' burgeoning influence within the Swedish political arena has left an indelible mark on policy decisions, particularly in areas such as immigration and asylum, owing to their crucial support of the existing government. Now, as the Sweden Democrats' role within the European Conservatives and Reformist faction gains momentum, expectations mount for an increased number of members of the European Parliament in upcoming elections. Notably, opposition from the Social Democrats warns of potential risks to Sweden's security and the broader fabric of European unity. The hypothetical scenario of a Swexit proposal places Prime Minister Kristersson at crossroads, with the decision to either reject the Sweden Democrats' proposal or support a Swexit carrying significant ramifications.